Yeah. That is the views. Okay, let me share the screen. That is correct. Okay. Hope you all can see my screen. Okay. So I think the students, those who joined for the last session are here, isn't it? Right. So we are here today with the subject in advanced level that you're the English language subject, isn't it? So the code number is 73, where the paper structured as part 1 as English literature, right? And part 2 as English language, isn't it? Right. So first, so maybe now for any stream, right? For any stream students, those who are doing their advanced level, hello, right? They are supposed to sit for your general English paper, isn't it? That's a must. But this paper is based on with your English literature paper. So your English literature paper will be part 1 paper that we discussed earlier, how it would be, right? We did an introductory session with English literature. Now this is English based on English language. So basically the paper will be like standard to a first language English paper, right? So just have a look at the paper. Hope everyone can see the paper on the screen. Shall I zoom it? Can see? Can see the paper, right? Right, okay. So here we have it's a 3-year paper here. So first thing, write a composition on one of the following topics, paying attention to relevant facts and supportive evidence, structure, organization, coherent argument, accurate language, and expression.
Is this
right?
O level or A level?
But this is for A level. You are following your O levels or A levels now. Are you done with your O levels?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you're hoping to do for your A level. You're hoping to do your English literature for your A levels.
Not decided yet, teacher.
So this is for the A level English class. So we are just doing an introductory session today. If you wish, you can just have a listen to it. The session will not be that much lengthy for today. But and if you really want to have a session on O level, you may request to the institute so that they will arrange one. Okay, right. So here, so we will come back to the paper now. So it comes as you will be given 4 essay topics, right? Where you are going to write, and 30 marks are being allocated here. Next, reading the comprehension and précis writing. So you have to read and write the précis here. Précis means what? It is the summary writing. So read the following passage and answer the question, comprehension. Then write the letter of the correct. So that is all the questions we will not discuss now. We're just having an idea about how to write, what is the structure would be, right? And here write a précis summarizing the passage given in question 2 about the above following the instruction given below. So how do we write the procedures are all what we will be learning. Then, so again, there is a composition. Then you will see, you will have an unseen poem, right? And then you will have to answer. So that's what in the last session, I was like trying to explain you all what is this poem is, how you will identify when you read a poem, how you will identify what is this about. You have to have an idea about the explicit structure of the poem and then the implicit structure of the poem. So here in this paper, you will get a poem of unseen poem will be there and where you will have to answer, right? So that is the structure of the paper. We'll discuss further now. So here we have in this presentation today, we have a small introduction about linguistic terms. Now we in literature, we have an idea about this, what do you call, the glossary of literary terms, isn't it? We know the figurative language, literary devices, isn't it? All this. So in linguistic, when you are learning language, there are some terms that you should be familiar with, right? So as earlier I said, so we are here, advanced level is the basement for your university entrance. So when you are stepping to the university, when you enter the university, you should at least have the entire basic knowledge. So for that purpose, we will be learning each and everything so that you will be a perfect student to follow your higher studies. So here we have linguistic terms. We will discuss that. Elements of good writing. You saw the first question there where you have to write. So we will learn about what are the elements of good writing. Then the types of essays, right? Types of essays. There are not one type. You saw there were 4 to 5 topics. Each topic is focusing on are based on some kind of a different type. So we are going to learn about the types of essay, précis writing, that means summary writing, how you will write a summary, and we will have a short discussion about the unseen poem and prose, how to analyze, how to read and understand the poem and the prose for us to answer the question in the paper, right? Okay. So here, linguistic terms. First one is lexemes. What is this word lexemes means? So lexemes is a Greek term meaning word or speech. So the adjective for the lexi is lexical. Lexemes is a term in linguistics referring to the vocabulary of language. So now what happened? We from till O level, we used the term that the vocabulary, isn't it? For the words that you are learning, we say it is the vocabulary we are learning. So here the vocabulary of language, we are giving a new term. It is called as lexemes, where we has to be very much focused on the lexical terms that we are using when you are writing as well as when you are speaking. Because here it is the first language, English, we are learning. So English is what kind of a language? We say it is the language which is globally recommended, and it is the language, we say it is the tool of communication, isn't it? So when you are learning about this language, you should have a deep down knowledge about the language, isn't it? Right. There is a question in the chat box, we'll see. Yeah. Is this the first session? Yeah, we are having the first session, right? Okay. So you all are clear about the term lexis. Next is syntax. Syntax is the proper order of words in a phrase or sentence. Syntax is a proper order of words or in a phrase or a sentence. Syntax is a tool used in writing proper grammatical sentence. What is the proper grammatical sentence of English language? When you are writing a sentence, the proper grammatical order of the sentence, only we call it as syntax. So what is in English language? What is the proper grammatical order, grammatical structure of a sentence? Yes, can anyone?
Subject,
Object, very good. It is SVO. The proper grammatical form structure of a sentence is SVO. So when we are writing essays, when we are writing academic writing, what is the main purpose is we have to see that our sentences are in proper grammatical order, right? Next here, native speakers of a language learn correct syntax without realizing it. The complexity of writers or speakers' sentence creates a formal or informal level of diction that is presented to its audience. So now, native speakers, do they learn English language structures? They don't. They never learn, isn't it? We people are only learning, isn't it? We people learn about the present tense, past participle, then past perfect tense, present perfect tense, all these things we are learning, isn't it? But the native speakers, they don't learn the structure because that is, they have been acquired the language. We are learning the language. Native speakers, they have acquired this English language. So they don't learn about these grammar structures. But we learn about the grammar structures and we are very, we have a wider knowledge about this grammar structure. Okay, right. So that is called as syntax. Right, I'll move on to the next. Next is here we have grammar. What do you mean by the word grammar here? Rules of language governing the sounds, words, sentence, and other elements, as well as their combination and interpretation. The grammar, when you're writing, the very most important thing is the lexemes that you use, the syntax that you use, and the grammar, the words, sentences, linking words. How do you use it to give a proper to interpret your ideas, your suggestions? We have to use this proper grammar, and the rules of this language has to be there. Where you will use the punctuations, all this comes under this grammar. Next is phonology. Phonology is the branch of linguistics concerned with the study of speech, sounds with reference to their distribution and pattern. Phonology is the study of how you pronounce sounds, right? How do you, now we say phonetics, those are the sounds, isn't it? Sounds, sound, isn't it? Burr sound, burr sound. How do we pronounce it? The study of this speech sound, we call it as phonology. This is not general English. General English is, there is a question someone asked, is this general English? General English is completely different. General English, we have a textbook to follow it, right? We have a textbook where we will follow, and it is something very simple based on all this grammar, right? That is something, yes, it is compulsory for all the students to follow this general English. This English goes with the English literature, where you are studying English literature, English as a subject in the arts. Yes. Someone's mic is on. Mute your mic. Okay. Right. So we were discussing about the phonology. Phonology is the study of speech. Sound. Phonetics is the sounds, abaca, and phonology, how the sound you pronounce, the study of it. It's called as phonology. Next, morphology. Morphology is the branch of linguistics and one of the major components of grammar that studies word structures, especially regarding morphemes, which are the smallest units of language. There can be base words or components that form words, such as affixes. So the name is what? Morphology. Already done. Already we know what is it. But we have learned about all these things. But term is changed. Here, see, you could see in the image there, the base word is happy. You are using the word, sorry, the prefix un, the make to change the word as unhappy. You're using the suffix ness. So the word changes as unhappiness, isn't it? So morphology is how the morphology is the study how the words are being structured, how the words are being formed in English language. Got it? So these theseness, we say what? We used to say this is a prefix, this is a suffix. Now you will learn these are all called as morphemes. We add morphemes to the stem words to form a word. Got the point? Is it clear? Right? Give me a second. Right? Is that clear, children? No doubts? If you have no doubts, I can move on to the next. Can one drop a message whether it's clear or not? Yes or no? Right, okay, good. Then we'll move on. Thank you, Nada. Right. So now next is semantics. What is this semantic is? The field of linguistics is concerned with the study of meaning in language. Linguistic semantics has been defined as the study of how language organize and express meanings. Semantics, how language expresses the meaning. The words, expressions that you use, how it is being organized through the language for us to express its meaning, called as semantics. The term semantics from the Greek word was coined by French linguistic Michael Braille, who is commonly regarded as a founder of modern semantics. So these things right? For us to have an idea about these linguistic terms, right? Okay. Next is, we are moving on to something, how to write a perfect writing, isn't it? Now, perfect writing, okay, the literature part where you critically analyze it, right? You read a text with the literary terms, with the quotations from there, you take and you write and you give the evidence, isn't it? You prepare your essay there. Here, you are writing something generally to express your ideas, your opinions, your views, and your suggestions. So when we are writing a piece of writing, there are some, we could say there are some elements where we have to focus on, mainly focus on. So when you're writing a piece of writing, when you are writing, a good writing will have to be very clear, fluent, and effective communication ideas. How these things are, these things should be bound together for us to deliver a proper writing, isn't it? So the first thing, consider as the syntax, sentence structure, sentence boundaries, stylistic choices. What is the sentence structure? We cannot go wrong in a grammar. Cannot go. When you are all advanced level students, syntax, you can't go wrong. Boundaries, there is a boundary. If you cannot, now of course I hope everyone can write lengthy sentences, but still if you fail, now there are maybe students who would have not done literature for O levels, who have been doing first advanced level literature. Yes, you may, if you feel that yes, your lengthy sentence may go wrong with their grammar structures, right? So that you may write short sentences, but there shouldn't be any errors. Next, stylistic choices. How the style of writing, you should have a nice style of writing. So normally when we are writing, our writing should be like, it has to be, when the reader reads, reader has to get attractive, it has to get attractive to our writing. That way we have to put it. So now here we are not writing in formal language. We have to use the formal language when we are writing. Okay. Next, the grammar. Rules for verbs, agreement, articles, pronouns, prepositions, punctuation marks, linking words, right? Connectives, conjunctions, all these should be up to the standard. So these grammar, sentence structure, we are not learning in this first language class. These things have been learned in general English, and I hope everyone are familiar with all these things. Next is mechanics, handwriting, spelling, punctuation, no errors. Handwriting has to be very clear. Spelling, you can't make any spelling errors. If you make spelling errors, the exam marks will be deducted. No punctuation errors. Capital, simple, full stop, question marks, exclamation, hyphens, colons, all this should be there in our writing. Next is organization. How you are going to organize your writing. Organization is most important, isn't it? Now, people who have done O-level literature, they know how to write an essay. Start with an introduction. You have to have you revert the question. You call it as topic sentence. right? Then you organize. What are the points you are going to write for it? How are you going to support them? How are you going to give evidence for them? To which extent they are, which extent we could say, to which extent they are, they can be support for your question, for the given essay topic, right? So all these comes under organization. For an example, when you have been given an essay to write, first thing is draft the essay. What are the points, right? Let's say some kind of an essay given, advantage, disadvantage, then examples from the society, right? How it happens, why it happens, everything done. And finally, your suggestions, your opinions. Next, word choice, vocabulary, idiom, and tone. What kind of word, how is your, how the words, what are the words you're going to use it? What is the language, the tone? All these are also will play a great role when you're writing a perfect essay writing. Then the purpose. What is the purpose of your writing? The reason why you're writing. Audience. Always have to consider about the audience. Who is the audience? Are they small children, or this is the examiner is my audience? Who are the person who are going to read your work? The writer's process, getting ideas, getting started, writing drafts, revising. Then the content, relevance, clarity, originality, logic, etc. So content, your content of your essay. You cannot just keep on writing. It has to be relevant to the topic. Clarity should be there. Clear points, originality, logic, etc. So this, if we follow all this structure, yes, we can output a perfect writing. Okay, right. Next, types of essays. So now, what are the types of essays we will be asked to write, and what are the types of essays we are going to learn in future, right? So types of essays, we have 4 types: one, narrative essays, descriptive essays, factual essays, persuasive essays are there, right? So what are these? We'll just have a short introduction about these types of essays. Narrative essays. In a narrative essay, the writer tells a story about a real life experience that happened in the past. Also, the narrative essay challenges the students to think and write about themselves. When writing a narrative essay, writers should try to get the attention of the readers by making the story clear, logical, organized. Narrative essays are usually written in the first person I sentence, given a reader feeling of being part of the story and engage the reader with clear visual imagery. Also, the narrative essay should enable the reader to make personal conclusion while reading the writing. So narrative, in the sense, you know what is a narration? You are speaking about and something happened in your life. You are narrating a scenario. You're narrating a scene. The scene, how it happened, what the feelings, the emotions, how the narrative writing should be. You have to take the reader also to feel the same emotions that you have. He also have to come to that level. That's what we say when you write something, that the reader also should come to your shoes and think in that way. So the narrative essay should be in such way, a perfect essay with all, without any grammar errors. Next is descriptive essay. What do you mean by this descriptive essay? You are describing a scenario. You are describing something and writing. Your description should make the reader to create a picture in his mind about what you are writing. So such a nice way. So mostly when we write descriptive essays, we have to use adjectives. We have to make the picture very clear to the reader, right? So we'll see what is there on the slide here. A descriptive essay paints a picture with words. A writer might describe a person, place, object, or even a memory, a special significance. However, this type of essay also gives a clear message on a social aspect to the readers. The descriptive essay strives to communicate a deeper meaning through the description. The best descriptive essays appeal to the reader's emotions with a result that is highly evocative. So next is factual essay. What do you mean by factual essay? Where your essay will be an informative essay. You're providing so many facts in your essay, right? So this is informative writing that presents a balanced analysis and makes the topic clear to the readers with example. The writer explains a topic by using facts, statistics, and examples. Factual essays encompass a wide range of essays such as comparison, contrast essays, cause and effect, and how to or process essays. Mainly, factual essays are mostly based on the facts, and writers don't reveal their emotions or write in the first person here. So one thing you have to consider on when you're writing factual essays, you're not narrating, your emotions, your feelings are not there. You're only giving the information. Got it? So here, narrative essay, for an example, something happened, we'll say, early morning, or a life experience about a scenario that happened to you, right? A holiday that you went, right? Something like that comes under narrative essay. Descriptive essay, yes, you are to write a creative writing essay. You are describing, right, a scenario or something about the nature comes under descriptive essays. Factual essays, you are delivering facts. Your facts are there. Something about the global warming, where or reasons, or about the, we'll say, about the pandemic, something that comes with the factual thing. You're giving informations, right? Persuasive essays. It is similar to a factual essay in its presentation of facts, but the goal of the persuasive essay is to convince the reader to accept the writer's point of the view or recommendation with the main idea and supporting points. The writer must organize the facts and logic as well as examples with expert opinions. The writer should be able to present all sides of argument on the chosen topic, but must be able to communicate clearly and with clear evidence and reason. Persuasive essays mostly comes as argumentative essays, where you are going to prove your point, right? To prove your point, you have to convince the reader. Give facts for the reader to prove the point. Those are called as persuasive essays. So further on this, all these essays, write one by one, how to write, way of writing. We will be writing few essays. In future in the class, we will be doing. So today is only an introduction session. So we are only giving you an idea about how the paper would be and how the entire course would be for you and what are the things you're going to learn here. Right. So we are done with the essay points and now we are here as writing a précis. What is this précis is? Précis is called as a summary writing. When you are writing, there are some guidelines that we should follow when you are writing the précis. Précis is you will be given a composition, a comprehension like thing, where you are going to write the summary of it, right? You are going to write the summary of it. Always remember when we are writing a précis, the word count should be 1/3 of the original text. Got the point? If we say there are 180 words in the text, so your précis should carry only 60 words. You have to make it to 60 words. Got the point? Okay, we'll see what is given in the presentation. On the slide, a précis is a shortened form of written text, a written summary. It expresses the main ideas, themes, and all the important points in a brief, in a nutshell, very shortly. A précis brings out the gist of the passage in a limited number of words that does not exceed 1/3 of the length. That's what I said of the original text. Everything that has been said in a lengthy description, it is said in a few words, but every idea and every fact is brought within it. Nothing important or relevant is left out. You have to be very aware of that. So there are some guidelines to be followed in a précis writing. Read the passage several times to get an understanding of the text. Pay attention to understand what the passage deals with, and also try to find out the central idea of the passage. How you are going to write the summary of the given text. You have to read the passage, understand the entire passage, right? What is it? What is the main focus of the passage? And then only you are going with the next point. Okay, where the coordinator wants to speak to you all, I'll give her the chance to speak. Thereafter, we'll continue. We'll take a pause today. Don't leave, the coordinator wants to speak to you.
Hello guys, so I hope you all enjoyed the session. Was it good? So if you now, since we are moved on to art stream newly, we are starting off the free sessions in December and we'll be continuing the official sessions in the coming month, January. So if you all like the session, if I want to continue, please contact me. I'll be sending the details in the WhatsApp group when the class is over. You can contact me and get the details of January. So I hope to see you all in the next class as well, the official classes. So continue the class and study. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you. Right. Okay, so we'll come back to the lesson. So we were speaking about how you are going to read it, get the point, what is the central idea. Next, note the length of the original text. That is most important, number of words. 180 words original text, your précis should carry 60 words. Underline the essential points. You read the text, underline. So when you're reading a text, what is the main thing? First you read, second you read, third you take the pencil, you skim through the text to underline the points. Create a suitable topic or title. Write a sample draft of the précis and see whether all the important points are included. Then start writing the précis. Whatever writing task we are doing, first thing is what? We have to draft it. Without drafting an essay, without drafting what you're going to write, you cannot complete your writing. That has to be there. Without drafting something, you cannot go to the originalities, because now this is learning point. I hope when you do so many writings, when you are done at the exam, you will not miss anything and you will come up with the all the points, and you will not won't be able to draft it, but still better even shortly when we will draft what are the things we are going to include in it. Include all the essential points in logical order. Use words of transition like therefore, because, right? This is most important. We have to use the words. therefore, because, right? And when you're writing, linking words, connectives, all these should be used. Why? To get the flow of the writing. Without a link, without linking words, you cannot get the flow. Even when you're writing literature, also there is a way of writing. I did not touch that part today, literature. That we will explain next in the next session. If the original text is divided into several small passages, the precis must present all the important points given in the paragraphs, right? If there are 3-4 paragraphs, you have to take all the important facts, put it in one and complete it. Avoid using original sentences from the text. Sentence copy pasting can't be done. Original sentence you cannot take. You have to write it in your own words. Exclude examples, illustrations, proverbs, repetitions, and quotations should be excluded. Finally, it should be in your own words and create a cohesive paragraph. Got the point? It has to be a cohesive one. Cohesion, the accurate, all the main points should be there and gathered, and it has to be a productive paragraph. Okay, next. So that was all about the precis writing, right? If we speak, we can speak so many things, we can write so many things. So we are today limited with the time. So we'll move on with to discuss about how these unseen texts will be there. You will have unseen poems or unseen prose for the test, for the exams, where you have to read, understand, and answer, right? So when it comes to unseen text, you don't know about the poem, right? Literature, what are we going to do? We are learning the poem, isn't it? We read the poem, we discuss about the poem, we think critically about the poem, we write the analysis about the poem, teacher gives you the note, you are able to complete the work, everything is done. But here in this unseen text, you don't know what is the poem is, but you are going to understand it. You are going to read, understand, and then you are going to answer the questions. So mainly, we have to focus on 3 areas when you are reading an unseen text: reading, reflecting, responding. So when we consider on reading, in the area of reading, it is important to understand the personal reading speed, focus firmly on the text, and interpret the characteristics of the subgenre, surface meaning, tone of voice, characterization, etc. It includes explicit reading, implicit reading, skim, and scan the text. So reading is included all these things. You are reading the poem. Very first poem, when you read, you can't understand it. Is from where this has fallen down. You come up with so many ideas, right? So where definitely we will teach you how to focus on the poem, how to read word by word, line by line, and get the idea of it. First you go on with the tone, next you go on with the diction, next you come up with the explicit idea of the poem. Then you go with the implicit idea of the poem. Then you skim and scan the text. Finally, because you have read 2-3 times, and when you are answering, you can skim and scan the text and write the answer. That's how the reading has to be done. Next is reflecting. In the area of reflecting, it's important to learn how the writer designed the progression of ideas, images, phrases, specific words to make the text effective. How it reflects. Read the text, read the poem. What is being reflected by the poem. Word by word, we have to get it. What this word reflects, how does it reflect? What is being indicated through this line? What kind of a visual imagery is the poet has used? But if there is a conversation in the poem, why is this being used? how it is being used, how it is conveying the message to the reader. Reflecting is most important. Final stage, responding. Responding is important, as in this stage, one has to focus upon expressing the ideas analytically, having clarified the thinking and designed the shape of the response towards the text. Responding, how you are going to respond it towards the text, because you have read, right? You have identified all the stuffs in the poem. That's what we learned. This is also to be something, whatever, if you get a poem, mainly based on all the literary devices, this, that, you put everything and only you try to get the idea what the poet is trying to convey. And then only you can write your analysis. Only you can respond to it, right? So those are the three main areas when you are reading unseen text. So there is some more guidelines to follow. What are the guidelines we will follow when we are reading the text? First, read the text well. Yes, that is, of course, we are doing. Read the questions given. Okay, you must always use your own words to answer the question. By studying the unseen text, the following points to be considered. I said, when you are studying the text, when you're reading, these things should be very much important. It can be a prose, it can be a poem. Setting, where the setting is done. That means where the poem or the story is being set, right? Subject, what is the main focus, objective of the poem? Who is the speaker? Main important thing. First person narration, second person narration, third person narration. Who is the speaker? Identify. Tone, what kind of a tone? Happy tone, sad tone, depressed, frustrated. What kind of a mood? What kind of a mood the poet is trying to, or the speaker is expressing here, right? The structure, what kind of a structure the poem has? It's a ballad, it's a poem with stanzas. Are there any, is it a sonnet, right? Structure, language, what kind of a language? Archaic language, modern English, what do you call, conversational language, narrative style, what kind of a language the speaker, the writer has used. Imagery, what kind of a picture you can create in your mind, what kind of an imagery you can create. Next is subjects, what the text is about, the most obvious sense, and what you understand to be the theme, idea, and the message. Find the writer's aim or the purpose. Don't worry, this is looks like, my God, I have to do all these things when I'm going to study. The, what do you call, the training will be given. Okay. So don't worry about how I have, if I get a text, my God, I have to see all these stuffs and find out, and then I'm going to write the answer, how I'm going to do. No worries about that. Because learning is some kind of a challenge, you know. We take the challenge when we are learning, right? So when you open the book, yes, when you open a new book, when you get the book in January, when you open the new book, yes, everything will be like Greek only, isn't it? But the end of the year, you are done. That's how it is. So this is only a, what do you call, only a basic things that is been discussed with you all. And the theory part we are discussing. Practically, when you do all these things, won't be an issue. Identify the place and time. Setting means, what is setting is place and time. This should not be a specific century or the town, and it can be given as early evening in a tropical country, something like that. Speaker, who speaks? The tone, I explained how are the words said, right? What kind of a tone? Then the mood, how the mood or the atmosphere is created. Then the structure, that also I explained y'all, right? Dialogues you get, monologue forms you get, soliloquy forms you get, conversational form you get, right? any stanza divisions are being done. If no stanza division, then it is a sonnet. If stanza divisions are there, then it's a poem. If the poem is speaking about some kind of event, if there are repetitions, if there is kind of what you call characters, all this, so does it go for shows an element of a ballad, right? So all these things also should be considered. Imagery, which sense do the words appeal to? So exam techniques is read the text well, go through the question given, reread the text, highlighting the significant points, and then answer. This is the exam technique for us. Read the text, read the question, reread, third time, skim, scan, and find the answers. Okay, so that's it, children, for today's session. Any questions from your end, you can ask. Yes, students, any questions you have? You can clarify. Miss, will you do like a fast track class for the 2023 batch? 2023 batch is now. That means, yeah, we have 1 year time, right? Then can be. Yeah, sure. We'll do it. Just inform the coordinator of the institute. She will let me know. Okay. Then we can, at least some papers, if we could do for y'all, right? Any other questions? If no questions, can I get some feedback from y'all? How was the session? Was it clear? Was it understandable? Or was it very slow? Was it very boring? Was it very much like too much pressure? Was it for y'all? Oh, great. I just received my O-level results. Yeah. So what is your plan? All in 1 year. So this is what it called. Syllabus is of course a bit vast because poems, 20 poems, short stories, novels, dramas, so much is there to do. You have to work hard. Then that's great. If you have taken any, you can give a try. No problem. No issues, we'll give a try and we'll see. Okay, right. Yeah, any feedback about the session? Okay, thank you, Nada. So we'll wind up the session. If anyone need of now, this is of course the presentation. I think all the stuff, okay, we will repeat it again when we are doing, but the same presentation will not be repeated now. We will be focusing on main points. I mean, with the practical things. Okay. Right. We'll see then. Okay, then thank you everyone for joining and Have a great evening. See you all. We'll wind up the session. Okay.